All right. We are going to talk about today how to pull your energy away from toxicity and be alone. So, this one I feel like is a really powerful conversation we're going to be having today about something really important that I feel like many of us are caught into right now. So, when you realize you are in an unhealthy relationship, that maybe a toxic relationship that you've been in probably a really long time 10, 15, 20, 25 plus years. And finally, the walls are starting to come crashing down where you're getting exhausted and you're realizing, oh my gosh, this is a one sided relationship. And I've actually just romanticized for years that this was a relationship that never really was the thing. And I have been deceiving myself and lying to myself and jumping through all these hoops to think at some point it's going to change and that it is a fair relationship and it's an equal exchange of energy, only to come to terms that it was an illusion the whole time, an illusion of something that we projected. We projected the fantasy, the fairy tale of what we wanted this relationship to be. And it could be with a partner. A lot of times, with it's a partner, it could be a long term friendship that you've carried for a long time and justified why you should stay in it because of the small pieces that you got out of it, to realize you've been alone this whole time.
Welcome to our channel. I'm Rain, with over 20 years of experience as an NLP practitioner, light worker, and channeler through divine inspiration. Here to help you connect with your true self.
And I'm Mel, an empath, light worker, and connector, passionate about guiding you to set boundaries and thrive.
Together, we bring you weekly tools and insights to support your empath journey.
If you're ready to deepen your connection with self, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Let's dive in.
How do we, how do we even start with this, Rain, of like to heal from this and to recognize of what to do? Like I feel like we have to like almost like mourn the loss, maybe is the healthiest first step, is one to, I guess, or maybe to just admit that we've been lying to ourselves the whole time and then have to mourn the loss of the fantasy. Where do we start to get through this?
Well, that's very interesting because it's prior to mourning it. There's the shock of seeing it. There's a whole, like, it's so hard to mourn something or someone or a dynamics or understanding prior to absorbing the shock. It's like the first shock in the system. What happens is there's this person that the illusionary image has been projected upon, and then you wake up and realize it's a projection of my imagination of who I wanted this person to be for me. So this projection is slowly like melting away, and you're seeing the new face. You're seeing the truth of who this person really is. But the shock of that is so intense on the system that you have to bounce between those two images for some time because your system doesn't get it. So before the mourning period, there's the adjustment of, wait, no, loving. I projected a loving, kind, we do everything together kind of relationship here, this mask I've put on someone. But then when the mask is falling, I see, ew, like, what is that? Who is this person? It's like an entirely other being, completely, entirely other being. And it's the truth of that being. So first of all, it's the phase of the shock. Don't forget, loneliness is a massive part of that because with the illusion, with the projected illusion, I was not lonely, right? I was efforting. I was putting in the effort that he was this person, he or she, a friend or a partner, they were a project. They were my project, right? So I'm going to make them feel better so I can feel better. So there's a projection of the future them of who they will be once they do all the things. And that's who we're seeing. So when that breaks down and you can't hold on to it for hope anymore, no, I know they can do this. I know they can be that person, right? So you're invested and you're not alone because you're filled with them. 99.9% of everything in you is them. They are your world. They are your universe. They are your God. They are your worth. They are your value. They are your identity. Everything is them. And so you are merged with that illusion and you live in a utopic world. When that starts to melt and fall off, it's melting. It doesn't just block. It melts off because you end up seeing the real face and it comes back and real face and comes back. That phase is the loneliest phase that one is going to go through. It's because they're not your project anymore. And if you don't have a project, and the project had everything hooked on it, it had your value, it had your worth, it had you, I matter only through the eyes of this person. My dreams are attached to them, me growing old, me being best friends for life, me whatever. All my identity, all my future dreams, everything was there. And when that falls, all of you falls. And it's the loneliest feeling in the world to go through, right? And this is all, you're just at the beginning of the cusp because you can't even mourn it because the person is still there in front of you. So if it's a partner, you're still seeing them on a daily basis, but they're not the same partner you married. They're not the same partner you dated. They're no one, and it's like you're getting to know someone new for the first time. And this person you're getting to know for the very first time is someone you would never even be friends with, right? You would never even have like a conversation with, like it wouldn't even go there, right? Might be just fun buddies. Like it's not even a thing. Like you wouldn't even think about them twice. And so it's as if you've broken up with someone, right? And you're living with someone you really don't like. Like you've broken up with someone you loved. You've left your lover, your intimate, your parent, your best friend, the person that meant everything to you, that you would give your heart to in a blink of an eye, to all of a sudden living and being in the presence of someone that you would never give anything to. And now, but you can't go anywhere and you're there, right? And so there's still, before the mourning period, there's this confusion and you don't know how to talk and you don't know how to deal. And then you try to deal the way you did, but then you want to vomit basically because you don't want to do it anymore. Because you're like, no, that version of me was only here for that person, but this person, it's that person. So I can't give them that person, the version of me that would react with this person, which was an illusion and a dream. Is it making sense?
Yeah, it's intense.
It's very intense. So this is that lonely part that we go through. And in that loneliness phase, some mourning spurts, you want to mourn so much, start to come in. You're like, oh my God, my lover died. My best friend died. My parent died. Like parent I was in love with, the parent I gave everything to, the parent I thought had my back, the partner that I thought had my back, the friend that I thought had my back died. They don't exist. And then the mourning starts and it comes in spurts, but they do exist in a 3D form that looks so different. And it's so hard because when somebody mourns, you can't see them, you can't text them, you can't talk to them. But this person looks the same way, talks the same way, acts the same way, but they're not the same person. So it's very hard to adjust because the life on the outside looks the same. They dress the same, they act the same, they talk the same. It's like somebody cloned the person you were in love with and then changed them they cloned them, but they forgot to clone their personality that you were in love with, that you created. So that's the pain. Yeah.
So this is like literally so intense. It's like, honestly, it feels so much harder than if it was like a physical death because it's completely cut where there's no mind games going on. But the fact that it's like you're mourning the death of someone and then they're right there, but then you're trying to shift and you're like, still have to show up like, and act like nothing is wrong. Because that's the thing, just because the veil's been lifted, you can't all of a sudden be like, oh, okay, well, I'm done. And here's divorce paperwork, or I'm unmomming you, daddy, whatever. It's like, we still have family get togethers with parents or whatever. You still have your partner that's living in the home that you have your kids with, whatever. Like, you can't, like, seems like so much mind, like effery to like figure out, like, how do I do this without and then you need time to build yourself up. And then also like, okay, what am I going to do? And like, if you haven't worked for years and years, you're like, now I've got to figure out how to make money, but then also not act awkward and weird in this relationship, but also honor self. Like, that is a freaking mess. So where do you even start to honor yourself and like work through that without like blowing things up when you're not ready to? Because the discovery is just for you. No one else knows. And can you share it with friends? Should you not share it with friends? Do you have to be careful? Like, there's a lot to this. Where to start?
Well, yeah, with friendships, you really have to be careful who you share it with, because in a lot of unhealthy relationship dynamics, talk with toxic people, they have already drawn a persona of themselves publicly to these people, and that's all they see. They don't see what's happening behind closed doors, right? You didn't even see what was happening behind closed doors, right? Like, so imagine how hard it is for you to see that, than to share it with someone who also was as gaslighted and as blinded by it. They will just defend that person, which will cause you to doubt what you're seeing, right? Which will bring you back to that state, back and forth. But if you can talk to the people that maybe you stopped talking to 20 years ago, or you stopped talking to 10 years ago, who kept trying to say, you know what, stand up for yourself, or try to give you some direction because they could see it, they would probably be the healthiest people to speak to. But make sure to tell them, I'm not waiting for you to bash the crap out of them. I just want somebody to speak to so that I can clearly share and somebody in agreement with me, so that I can feel solid in the truth that I'm seeing, and not go back to the illusion and make my truth the illusion and the illusion the truth. Like, I want to do the switch. So that's one way. Just make sure you know who you're speaking to, and it's someone that's really safe and that has the ability to have seen it, or has been seeing it but is just there for you. Another way to, because it is exhausting physically. It's like you are shedding you're removing your entire being. You're taking off the skin, your identity, everything. You're stepping out into an entire new identity. For you, outside of just seeing them as someone else, you're discovering things about you that you never knew. You're discovering, like, oh, the minute somebody says these kinds of words, I immediately go into a zombie state and I get it done. Like, if he or she, my friend, says, oh, you're always there for me, I love you, these specific words are it's hypnosis for me. It gets me to ignore all the signs and just say, oh, yeah, that is the kind of friend. Of course I'm going to do it, even if everything inside of me is saying no, right? Or, a lot of us women go with the words, oh, I love you, I can never leave you, you mean the world to me. And because there's a fear of being abandoned or unlovable, those words, when they come out in it, we just go into a hypnosis state, and these are our words. So there are trigger words that would be so magnificent if you can figure out your trigger words, the zombie words. Like, what are the things I love to hear? If I hear this, then I will do anything for this person. What are the things, if this person does, if they do it just once or twice every 10 years, I would do everything for them. Right. So if this person picks up their laundry every morning for a week, or just a day, sometimes they can't even last a week. One day I'll be like, this is the best friend I've ever had. This is the best partner I've ever had. Like, start to know your codes and where it is that you fall into the deep sleep of a program, which is very easy to drag you and make you do anything because you've told yourself, this is who I am. Right. And so that is the most important thing, is the training with self, because the pain of continuously seeing them. So what you're going to do at the very beginning, and this goes on for some time, is you become the observer. Okay. Instead of the reactor and the person who's there to help, you're just an observer. It's as if you're watching a movie. You're finally going to watch a movie from the outside. You're going to watch you and them, and you're just going to watch this movie. And you're going to be very awake watching this movie. Be like, oh, when he or she talks this way, look at me. Look at how I'm reacting. Interesting. Okay, I'm react this way. What if I don't react? And you start to practice different things. If I stay silent now, how does this person react? Oh my God, they lose their marbles. They walk away. Interesting. So they want me to engage. Okay, I'm not going to engage again. And you start to play with the scene. Okay. Why? It's not to out them out. You don't want them to figure out who they are. They would never will. It doesn't even matter. You've spent probably 20 years trying to explain yourself and explain. What you're trying to do is you're trying to figure you out. Okay. How do I work? How do I function? What are my buttons that this person has been playing with? They've been playing ping pong with my emotions because they have all my keys. I didn't know my keys because I spent 99.9% trying to figure out their keys and trying to pretzel me in different positions so that I can fit their keys. So I spent zero time on me. And whenever I did spend time on me, that time spent was figuring out what is wrong with me, that this person cannot hear me, cannot love me. So it wasn't even like a loving self-discovery. It was like, it was a shitty self. It was like, ew, what is wrong with me? I'm just judgmental self-discovery. It's a different game now. So these are just the basic steps of getting out of this manic state of being, of constantly being subservient to this entity all the time and waking up to self. Who am I in the process? This way, the mourning phase is completely different because you're not mourning their death. You're mourning the death of the old you. You're saying goodbye to her or him. This one is the one to mourn for, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something I recently went through literally just a couple months ago. And I call it my identity was Barbie, and I'm like, Barbie, because Barbie's like has everything together. Like, I'm perfect. I'm great. I can help you. I don't need anything. And that was my identity that I wore my entire life. Literally, no joke, up until about 2 months ago when I realized like the last straw hit. She got pushed off a cliff on vacation. She's dead now. And it's has been a new feeling and a new everything. It's just like, who is this person? I literally have never been in my own body or space before because I spent my entire life from a little girl in childhood walking on eggshells, trying to not make mom mad, don't want to get her angry. So living in the eyes of like, if I play with this toy, it wasn't like, can I play with this toy because I like to and it's fun for me? It was never that. It was like, if I play with this toy, is it going to be too loud for mom and get mad? Then I'm not going to. It was always trying to get in her head and then see like if I could do the thing. That's been my whole life. And I realized then I started doing it in friendships. Then I do it in relationships and doing it in marriage and doing it with everyone around me. And I'm like, oh, very toxic. I put myself back burner. I completely buried myself. So yeah, the truth is I'm like new in the self-discovery of really discovering who Mel is and like how much energy I put into things, realizing I put so much energy into stuff. I just thought that's who I was. I'm high motivated. I like doing things all the time. I'm like, that's who I was. And now I'm like, I don't know if that's me anymore. How much of it is me? I think a part of it is, but it's a lot less definitely than it was before. It's pretty small. It's super fascinating. It's a whole new discovery of self. And sometimes it's sad. Sometimes it's hard. Like I actually miss pieces. I'm like, oh, I like that piece. I like the one that was super motivated to go to the gym all the time and actually got up and went. And now I'm in this like, I need to go, but I don't, it's just this weird. And I'm like trying to be comfortable with self. And so, yeah, it's kind of a big deal. So if anyone else resonates with this and feels it, like we see you, like I see you going through this and feeling it. And it's going to be, I know, liberating and freeing on the other end. And I have those moments of it when it feels that, but then I go back down. So I'm not settled into my self space yet, but it does feel like hopeful and freeing and exciting that like, okay, I've had those moments of like, oh, that freedom, that liberation, and know that like, okay, I want to feel that more days than not. And I'm on my way there. So what are some signs that our energy is being drained by a toxic person or environment? And we may not realize it, like many of us have not realized for years. And maybe, yeah. So how do we know?
Like, fantastic question, because when we don't know, it's just because we're sleepwalking. And this is the norm. When we don't know, it's because it's our normal. It's our norm. This is what we do. We're being drained. Our energy's drained. We don't know life outside of our energy not being drained. We haven't experienced it. We don't know what that feels like or looks like, because even when we're alone, we're thinking of the person or the people. So we're still energetically attached and bringing in that energy. So feeling that drained energy sometimes, like You'll feel drained. Like, let's say you're drained. This is you. Your normal is drained, but then you're around maybe more toxic people than normal. You'll feel drained, and that's when you'll feel it, the extra drained. But here, the normal drain, to you, this is normal. Like Mel was just saying, this is my normal. When I'm a kid, I go into her mind to know who I need to become according to that person's perception, right? So it's the same thing. This was the norm. How else do you live life? I don't know. That's how I lived life. But to notice, if you want to be consciously aware, when you are being drained and there is a different, when you're around a toxic person, and if you have been around them for years and you're not noticing, the only way to notice is when you take a break from this person, okay? And notice who you become the minute they walk in the door, okay? And what kind of personality or persona you need to pretend to be. There are quite a few folds. So what I'm hearing now is first, the personality you put on when the person comes in, right? Notice, do I get happier? Do I perk up? Do I all of a sudden become somebody with no problems, right? Who do I become when this person comes in, right? Do I over exaggerate my celebration of their presence, right? Who am I becoming? Because I was just chill, talking to a friend, whatever. And then this person walks in and all of a sudden I'm different. Notice the different. That is somebody who's taken on toxic person. There's a toxic person in the room, and you have to put on like Mel was saying, you have to put on Barbie. You're putting on a different persona that isn't you. There's a toxic person in the room. Your body language is so different. Who you are is so different. You neglect yourself. You forget even the people you're with because that person becomes God. God just walked in. Who are you going to be? Okay. Another sign is if you're in a toxic environment or with people and you're not realizing it, there's a feeling inside that it's like you want to get away and you don't know why you want to get away, but you do. And you're kind of oppressing this feeling of I want to get away and talking yourself. When you talk yourself out of things, notice how the ego speaks. The ego's always talking you into things. Okay. And it's not because it's evil. It's just because this is what will help you survive. Meaning, oh no, she didn't mean to say it that way. She probably was brought up in a different environment. So her parents spoke that way. So she needs to speak that. Oh, he didn't mean to like ignore me and walk off. He just probably didn't hear me. Sometimes my voice is really low, blah, blah, blah. There's somebody in the background always building a scenario, right? Which is the illusion about this person, right? Giving excuses for bad behavior, giving excuses for how you feel. Oh, you're always feeling too many energies. It's okay. Maybe it's not them, it's me. So there's someone speaking and not allowing you to experience what you're experiencing without changing the dialogue. So, it's like you're projecting an image. Okay? When you feel that you have to project an image, you have to talk yourself into an image. This is you are in a toxic environment. You're trying to make it prettier. I hope that's making sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why does being alone feel so scary after leaving something toxic, even when we know it's not good for us?
Because when we are with someone toxic, we are busy. We're so busy. Like we have a purpose, we have a passion, we have a mission, these are there. Our purpose, change this person to have a fabulous relationship, right? Our mission statement is to have a lovely relationship for the rest of our lives and enjoy this. It's a purpose. I'll change this person so I can receive the relationship I want. Disappears. All of a sudden, you feel empty. You have no purpose. You have no mission. You have nothing. It's so empty. It's empty. You're completely empty. And don't forget, when you are in relationship with toxic people, it's not only one, it's usually quite a few that you're unaware of. You've got all these people inside of you. It's so noisy in here, right? You can hear this person's thoughts and this person's thoughts, and you're debating with this person. You're debating with that. I should have talked this way. No, you shouldn't have. Well, this person said, and you're so consumed. When all these people leave your inside, it is empty. And you're like, hello? anyone to talk to brainstorm with, to like problem solve and fix, anyone to fix, I'm alone. That's where the loneliness comes in. It's like you stop connecting to energies that are only causing, that are looking for problems so that you can solve, so that you're constantly engaged in the rat wheel. It's like you're constantly in the same pattern, and it goes on for years. Years. It's a constant repeat play, repeat play. So that's why it feels so scary to leave and lonely. And that's what everyone's afraid of. It's that lonely feeling, but nobody's recognizing the loneliness is that you're releasing yourself from these energies. So of course it's going to feel empty and lonely inside. But your body hasn't been used to only housing you. It's been used to housing you with many. So it's a void.
Oh my
Plus,
God.
most of the time, you're not even in the house, in your house. You're actually outside of your house, and everyone else is in here. So you're out because you have left the body, right? Because this doesn't feel safe in here. Everyone's in here. You're managing everyone else. You got mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin, uncle, colleague, friend, husband, what? All these humans are in here. So you've left the body. That's what I'm like, what is it called? The word? Disattached. I'm disattached, right? That's why it's so sometimes really hard to bring the empath back in the body, because they're like, no, I'm not going in there. That's insane in there, So you're fatigued. There's a whole bunch. Now, when you take all these people out and you bring yourself back in, this is what self-discovery is. You're bringing you in. You're like, all parts of me come back in, and you can even say those words, and it comes back in. Feels like it's a clean house. And then you're not alone. You're basically alone because all these people live in here. You're outside of you. You want to declutter your home and you want to come back. And then when you're in here and it's only you in here, you're like, peaceful. I can think the thoughts I want. I can feel the way I want to feel. I can experience me, and all the pockets of my energies can come back and live in here. And now I can communicate with my pockets of energies, not everyone else's, and adopted them in here so I can help them.
Wow, it feels like it's literally just above survival. Like you're not dead, but you're not too much past that. Like you're so gone, dissociated, disconnected from self that you're like not even existing. You're not even hardly existing as who you came here to be, as who you are. It just kind of like clicked all of it of like, whoa, this is a kind of a big deal. So it's interesting. So we have all these people, and like you said, it's like a project. All this energy is going into it. So it's like somehow deep down, it's like what we're afraid. We're so used to living this way, and our ego is so much attached to it because it's like it did keep us safe. We're physically alive. And so it's just kind of like, I'm doing my job. And so we're never going to get past that unless we can tell the ego, like, okay, I want more. I want more. I want to connect with self and who I really am. The interesting thing that happened for me was, as you've helped me work through this, and like, okay, Mel, what will you do for you right now? Don't worry about the conversation or the argument you had. Like, table it. You can come back to it. What do you want to do for you? Come home to self. Like, as I started purging and realizing that I was absorbing everybody's energies, it's so fascinating. The moment that I freed up space within me, even just validate it and recognize it, and gave myself a little space to go hike up the canyon and be alone, downloads started to come in. Like from source, from spirit. I'm like, I can't even claim this idea, like this big picture idea, this vision that we're going to be creating with this platform to bring incredible humans together in a safe space of love and kindness, and not open the doors for anybody else other than that, and to protect that space and to keep it, it's a beautiful idea. And it's like, I can't even claim it. It's not like I was sitting there trying to come up with some business idea. It just came in that I'm like, this is from source, a gift from source. If I wasn't open to it, the timing's right, I'm sure it would have gone to somebody else. But as I opened up space, it came in of like, and it fits me, and my brain's ready for it. And the past physical businesses that I've created, the things that I've done, the experiences I've gone through to get to where I can handle a baby like this and do it from pure love. It would not have come to me, I know this, if I did not free up this space and figure this out. So I'm like, holy cow, I'm just tapping into this. I'm like, I know so many more ideas are going to come through as I relieve other people's energy. But I'm just realizing, like, holy cow, how many other people are running around as zombies just like I was, with incredible ideas that source wants to drop into them, for them to be able to birth these beautiful ideas and visions that are just unique to you and your life and your experience, that nobody else can birth it the way that you can. And it's only going to take being okay to be alone, which is what we're talking about, being alone with self and not being afraid of that, and just trust it. There's no way of testing it out until you purge those other energies, and then be okay with sitting and be alone and not jumping in and attaching back to toxic people just because they're there and it's a physical connection. It's like being okay to have that space, and then see what's going to be able to drop in after being alone with self, right? Something
Yes.
big and magical can happen.
Yeah, because it's not about the idea of sitting alone and meditating 500 hours a day, which is something I did do then, and I still love meditating, so I don't denounce meditation. I'm just saying the alone feeling that we fear so much is simply the feeling of, the reason you've been feeling so alone, we've all been feeling so alone, is because we've left the body. So imagine floating in space, attaching to everybody else's energies not to feel alone, right? Because your home is occupied, you can't live in it anymore, but you're not safe because you don't have this shell around you that's protecting you from the world, right? But you think being in there is what's terrifying, not knowing that since you were a child, you've left the body, okay? Because it was too scary in there, because you had mom and dad and everyone in here telling you your shit, right? And now you don't want to come back into it because there are now 20 other people in here. But when you declutter them out, and it's really very simple. It doesn't need any like overexertion of work or anything like that. All you have to say is, I release everyone and anything known or unknown to me, because we don't know everything here, no matter how many people say whatever. Known or unknown to me, I release them all out of my body right now. Nobody's allowed to be in here. And I bring all parts of me from all timelines and all experiences back into my body. Right. And you can even visualize it. Like at first, when I started this, I had to like stretch my hands out, and because I need to physically feel that I'm doing something. So I would do this and I'd just be like, I'm bringing you all back in, all of me. The one that I left, the energy pocket that I left that I left her behind when I was 2. The pocket of energy that I left behind in the supermarket when somebody hurt my feelings and she's still being hurt there 4 days ago. All of me from all parts, I bring you all back into my body. My body is here to take care of you. And already I feel better just saying it. It's just, but you have to do this often. For me, because I'm so porous, so I just like, it's just people come in all the time. So this is like the thing I have to do like at least every half an hour to 15 minutes, right? I'm hoping to see in time what happens. But this is how to do it. You're declaring, you're asking, and you're requesting. So you're putting it out there. But when the ego comes in, the ego will want to do, let's burn incense and let's all these tricks of the trade, which I don't have a problem with. I still burn incense, but it becomes so egoic, like structured, like, okay, do this and write it this way. Take it out from your journal and burn some incense and run around your house 3 times and open the windows and pour salt and forget all that. That is just the ego talking with all the information you've received from the spiritual industry, which is fine. They're fun to do if you're doing it for fun. If you're doing it because, oh my God, I don't know what to do. No, you yourself are very powerful. Your voice is actually a vibrational cord to the universe and back. So once you say, I command and demand all energies that don't belong in this body, okay, to go back to their owners, okay, to get out of me at this moment, you are commanding. No one can say no to you. No one can stay there. Right. And you can even ask, by the power, I always use the power of the divine creator. By the power of the divine creator of all, I command all energies to release my body, to be out of my body at this moment. And I bring all parts of me and versions of me back into the body, into the safe haven. You're allowed to exist in here.
Oh, that was fantastic. That's so cool because that was my next question was going to be just to ask, like, what does it look like to consciously pull your energy back? And what practices or steps can someone take to really feel that shift? So are those the main things that you would say to do that?
Yes, yes, it really has to be. It's like we're being exclusively taught that yes, you can burn this, yes, you can open a tarot, yes, you can do all this. These are only tools for you, fun tools, earthly tools. But the real tool is your vocal cord. This is where your magic lies, right? And don't be afraid to command and demand it to come in. And it doesn't have to be mean or cruel. You could just be like, no, I command you all of out here. And hey, beautiful me, come all back in. Could be any words you want.
I
Yeah.
like that. That's
Yeah.
fun. Just bringing
Yeah.
self back, bringing self
Yeah.
back home to self, and realizing how very real this is. That I really do feel like many of us humans, a lot of us, really do just absorb everyone's energies and get lost in everybody else and trying to make them happy and be the good girl and people please. And that's in culture and religions, and just so much programming and domestication is built into that it's like all of us, I think, probably need to look at that and at least admit it and be willing to be like, okay, it's time to come back home to self. And what are some practices I can do and be conscious, start observing, like, who am I getting lost with, like you said, with different relationships? Am I turning into a different person with this person? Am all of a sudden I'm getting more excited? Am I pulling back? Am I sad? Am I depressed? Do I want to go away? Do I want them to leave? Like, ask the questions, look at it and see, and know it's not worth just living just above survival. And the truth is, it's like we've proven to ourselves, if you're in a relationship, a marriage, a partnership where like you realize, oh my gosh, it's been a one-sided relationship the whole time. The truth is, you have been basically like mentally alone the whole time. So you don't need to be afraid of being alone. You've already been alone in that sense. Like, you've been doing everything. So if you're like, oh no, I'm going to be a single mom with kids, like, I can't do that. It's like, sure you can. It's worth figuring out how to just, if you need to make some money and bring in a paycheck so you can have that space, and just know that to become you and who you are, if you're not in a safe space to do that, it's like, it's not worth going a whole life just, that sounds miserable, you know?
Yes.
Um,
And I just wanted to add this point in because it just kept coming through. What's really important is, even if you are like externally exerting your energy or internally trying to help people, notice when you get any kind of emotion, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling anxious, depressed, lonely, FOMO, immediately as you're feeling it, before going into, oh, I have to work through this, it must be my shadow, I'm going to do the timeline, I'm going to talk to my inner child, before you do any of that, okay, you have to always ask, is this mine? Okay, because you will I spent years working through all the pockets of energies in me that are not mine, and them they're not them not working out, and going to a million different therapists and reading a million different things to heal this thing, but it wouldn't get resolved because it was never mine that I'm working through. So before you even start the journey of like sitting with that pocket of energy, immediately ask, is this mine? This anxiety, is it mine? You'll feel all of a sudden like you'll get a no if it isn't. And then you say, sorry, in the light of love of God, whatever you want to say, you're not allowed in here. Get out. Get out. This isn't for me to work through. Get out, go back home to where you belong, go with love and light. You don't belong in here. And then if you have some anxiety, your anxiety is going to feel very different than somebody else's anxiety in you. And it took me really years to figure out the difference, because they kind of feel the same, but one feels foreign. One feels like no matter what you do, it doesn't get resolved. It's just there all the time. So just know, it could be your parents that you've held on. It could be a different energy. Always ask, is this mine? And it's not it's the hardest question to ask when the sadness takes over, when anxiety takes over, because you're not consciously now being like, I wonder if this anxiety, you're having an anxiety, right? It's not like you're conscious, but figure out a way to remember. Put a bracelet on that will always remind you to ask self if this emotion is yours. So you don't spend 2 weeks, a year working on an emotion that can never be resolved because it's not in its own body with its own human, and it's inside of you.
So, how can we tell the difference between healthy solitude and isolating because we're hurt or afraid? So we don't go in to the opposite side of the spectrum of like the toxic side of like well, now I'm not going to trust anyone. Now I'm just going to isolate. And because I've given everything, now I'm going to give nothing. How do we know the difference? It's a healthy space to be in.
Well, a healthy solitude is I am I am safe to speak to anyone, and I know that I can't get gaslighted and I can't get manipulated, and like you have a knowing about you. So a healthy solitude is, oh, I just don't want to go to that outing just because I don't want to, but not, I don't want to go to that outing. Oh, I'm going to pick up all their energies and then I'm going to get trapped in clearing all this energies. There is no dialogue and like excuses and telling yourself. So an unhealthy isolation is where I'm afraid of the consequences of doing the thing. Oh, if I talk to that friend, da, 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 she'll never get off the phone and it'll never end. Okay. That's an unhealthy isolation. So I'm going to isolate from that friend, although there's something I really want from her. And there's this fear. Healthy state of solitude is, well, I'm going to call that friend and I'm going to say, I only have 2 minutes. I need this info, but I'm okay. Healthy solitude isn't like sitting at home alone for hours and being like, oh, I'm having fun being with me. It's a very different way. I'm happy being with me inside and I can deal with everyone in the world, but I know I have my back. That's a healthy solitude. Isolation is exactly the opposite of that. Is I am scared of the world. I am scared of others. I'm in fear of the consequence of me going here or interacting with this person because I still haven't built up the confidence of how to stop this person's energy or walk away. So I still have fear factor. So it's easier to isolate, which is also wonderful because then I don't know how to do those things yet. I'm still going to train myself, but I want to isolate right now because this feels safer for me than having the voice to speak up or embarrassing someone and saying, stop. I still don't have that tool or that technique. I haven't honed it in yet. So I'm going to isolate. So there's a goodness in that also, but you have to be consciously aware of it, that I'm isolating until I train this muscle that I'm terrified to train. So I'm going to train this muscle, but when I go out, I'm going to practice it. So you're always in a state of, I'm going to practice this new identity I'm in instead of I'm so terrified of what this person's going to do to me. I'm going to talk to that narc with the new personality I have, and let's see how I can handle it. Shit, his energy came fully in and I couldn't even handle it. Okay. No, then I need another tactic. This isn't working. There's another way I can do it. And you're just playing all day with yourself. It's not fun all the time, but yeah.
Right. Okay. So, what are some beautiful or unexpected, like, what's something beautiful or unexpected that can come from being alone after walking away from toxicity?
Everything beautiful. Everything beautiful comes with that. Also, tremendous amount of pain, sadness, the sense of loneliness, the sense of all of it is so beautiful because you are finally allowed to feel what you are feeling. And you're not going to someone like the narcissist to talk them into how to act better so you can stop feeling this way. Right? Now it's really just you. You're not attaching to their energy to decipher if you're allowed to feel the way you feel or not. Because a lot of times you'll feel sad, but the minute they walk in, you're smiling because you don't know the consequences of you sharing a sadness, how it's going to turn against you. But now, for the first time, you're sad. You can be it. And you can say, I'm allowed to be sad. You know what? I want to be sad for the next year. I'm going to do it. I don't care. I'm rebelling against anyone who tells me I can't. So the beauty, that's the unexpected beauty in this, is that all of a sudden, when you do actually leave the same domain or cut off that friend and just don't answer calls, or there's a different energy. And as an empath, you'll feel it. There's a different energy in your home. Instead of this dark cloud that was always there hovering, it drops, it disappears. And all of a sudden there's space. There's so much space. And sometimes it feels really lonely with the space because you're used to fighting the darkness. This is what you're used to. You're used to fighting the darkness. You're used to like trying to survive the dark cloud. But all of a sudden you don't have to do any of that. So the body takes some time to align with a different way on that. a different way of being outside of the nervous system being so wrecked and heightened all day, all night, waiting for anticipating and thoughts and vision. All of a sudden it goes into this peace state, which feels boring as hell, but your body doesn't understand it. But the home feels different. Life feels different. Colors look different because they're not in the forefront of your view. They're in the background of your view, right? So you start to see people differently. You start to experience life differently. You experience yourself differently, and you start to allow yourself to feel all the negative emotions that you were never allowed to feel since you were a child. So you're going to go through all of them, and it's going to not be fun because we've been taught that these are bad feelings, but that's okay. You should celebrate the fact, or don't should. I'm not shoulding anyone. What would be nice would be if you can celebrate the freedom in you having to experience this emotion right now, that you've never had this freedom before. You know? Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I feel like I'm in that space right now. Like I said, I recently Barbie just died. It was just like, it just happened. And it was like, I couldn't get her back if I tried. It's literally just like, I can't even, it's just so exhausted. She like burned herself out where she just cracked and fell apart. Like, just couldn't do it anymore, you know? And so it is interesting where like I am in this trying to just get comfortable in my own skin for the first time. But I can see like, and I can't say that I'm there yet, but I'm like, wow, I can only imagine like once this space is freed up, that I put so much energy and time into everybody else and living outside of me. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's going to bring, and then working through the fears of that alone, the truly like alone, where I'm alone in myself and being okay with just me and accepting me fully for the first time and giving myself space to settle into like, I'm just kind of blah, or I don't want to smile as much, or I don't want to put energy into that, or like, I don't care if you're sad or not. Like, that's yours to figure out with me not, are you okay? And this, like all that extra energy I was putting into everything and everyone, I literally just don't even have it in me to be that. And then having to work through the shame of like, gosh, and now I a bitch. Is this bitchy energy? Like me just settling being normal, or like not overexerting myself. So it's like so much mind emotional stuff that I've been having to go through. And I'm still in the middle of it. But I can see like, oh my gosh, like I can only imagine on the other side of that, how much energy is going to be freed up when I can just settle in without all of this, and just like, then I'm going to be ready to create again, and like in beautiful creation energy and godlike energy, which we're all created here to be, I feel like. So I'm like, that's what it feels like I'm going to, which is exciting for me. And I think it'll be natural, and it won't be efforting like before it was efforting energy. I think it's just gonna, just like these ideas. I've had a taste of it, just like I wasn't even trying to. I'm just like walking, enjoying nature. And then all of a sudden this idea kind of comes in, and I'm like, oh, ooh, this is a fun baby. Like it's fun to have something exciting that's fulfilling to put energy into rather than everybody else. So I like that. I want more of that. And also I'm having to be patient with like, okay, I've got to settle in and simmer to all this other stuff. But it's a very fascinating journey to go through. I'm in the process.
I love it, Mel. I love it. Yes, it is a process, and it could take years, and that's okay. It's always going to take years, you know, and there's no end result. It's just, I think we should drop the whole at the end. We're going to feel excited and happy because something else will show up, and we'll be like, what again? So, so maybe just be like, it's always going to be what again? And then that's just it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just know I'm ready to feel like, I don't feel like I'm gonna have to keep doing the deep dive into the like feeling insecure and not good enough energy. Like I'm just get at least above self-acceptance and loving self to just enjoy what comes, and know there's always going to be changes and challenges and all that stuff, but just to not beat myself up with it, to let that energy go, where it's like, I'm just not going to go there anymore, where that was my whole life. So, you know, and then to let positive, and to be able to receive, you know, to receive and let good things in and feel what that feels like. So anyway, I'm excited for the new evolution. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to this episode. I hope you got a lot out of it. I'm sure you did. Just like I got a ton out of it. I'm gonna have to re-listen to it again. Please share your takeaways. We love your comments. So share your takeaway of what you got out of this, or if you can relate, or if you're going through anything like this. Like this episode, subscribe to it to be the first to hear about new episodes that come out. We did recently add a new membership platform here on YouTube. So, and there's a bunch of different like levels, membership levels you can do. So, if you want to connect with us on a deeper level, we would love that. Just choose how much deeper you want to connect with us and what resources and support you want. There's just more on each one. And then we have a giveaway that we're giving you. If you get value out of this, we have a Buy Me a Coffee account right now. We call it a Buy Me a Cup of Love, but there's just a link you can go to and you can just donate to help us just keep doing these videos and doing what we love and share great information with you to help you shift and to free yourself and love yourself more. So anyways, thank you for being here and we'll see you on the next episode.